long as he could. He had some important papers. Well, what it was, she had got married again. Uh, this was all a lie about the
Oh, is that right?
baby had died and him having a car accident and all that. And anyway,
Wow.
I guess uh, Jim's grandmother wanted to keep him with him, I guess.
Hmm.
And anyway, he was 6 years old when he got adopted uh, by this husband that she married then. And so, come to find out, they hadn't even put the baby's name on the paper, uh, birth certificate. It left that blank. I have that papers in there. He brought that to me after, but it was the year that after Al died, I is our anniversary. I got this phone call and said that he was had lost a love uh, uh, person, family. And he said, well, he said, not been you, but my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked, was his dad there? And well, Al had died the year before, in November. And this was October the 11th that I got this phone call. And I said, well, honey, I'm sorry, but your dad passed away last year. And I said, and so that really upset him.
Yeah.
But he couldn't talk to me for a while. He got, his cousin was on the line, and they finally called. He talked to the cousin, and then I talked to him a while. Then I asked him if he'd been adopted, and he said yes,
Yeah,
he
that's
was.
what you.
And I asked him what his name was. And he told me what his name was before it was adopted. And 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 now his name was Murdery. Last name is Murdery.
Mm-hmm.
Him and he worked for the L.A. Sheriff's Department for 25 years. He had retired that year from the Sheriff's Department in L.A. And they live in Chino Hills,
Yeah,
uh,
he's been right there, huh?
California.
All that time, huh?
Yeah, and he never, and but she never would let him tell who his dad was. Uh, but she was I guess, got so bad mentally off herself that they had to have a court order to get a order to put her in a nursing home.
Mm-hmm.
And so they said, well, while they were doing it, get a order to make him tell who his dad was.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, he found out the name there, and so he went all the way to Ohio trying to find him, and well, he didn't
He's
find
here.
nothing there. Well, he come back to Oklahoma because he something in the papers said he was El Dorado, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
And so they called, and so she said, oh, well, said I don't know, said he either lived in, uh, Al, oh, what's, what's the, uh, uh,
The town?
I was trying to think, Amarillo,
Amarillo,
Texas.
Texas.
Either
Okay.
there or Oklahoma. She didn't know where it was.
Yes.
So anyway, he went down to the cemetery at El Dorado, Oklahoma, but he couldn't find no Haggars, and so he went. They give up. His wife was telling me about that the other day. Said he just gave up. He decided they just couldn't find his dad.
Yeah.
And so he said he thought they wouldn't be no problem. It'd be in his name, Elba. Uh, uh, he wouldn't have no problem
Finding him.
getting a license number, you know. But anyway, he didn't, so they stopped at a restaurant there in a little, it's a dried up town. There's nothing to it to begin with. But anyway, this little old man, they'd been there eating his lunch, and he asked them something that if they'd ever hear of anybody by the name of Hagar, and uh, he said, yeah, he sure did. He'd heard that a lot. But he said, I can't tell you all this, but I'll tell you, this woman that runs this
That knows, huh?
drugstore here said, you ask her, she could tell you everything. And so he went over there, and she told him where his cousin lived, and right there in a block or so of where she worked, and so he went over there, and she gave him showed him his address and everything, and they went there, and they called me from his cousin's house that day, and so anyway, I
That's where
said,
they were calling from, huh?
then so anyway, to take a long story short, we we had made a arrangement to come and meet us when he come back from California the day I was talking to him. And he said, you come back, he said he had to go to a meeting on right after anniversary there by a certain time of that month. And he said, then I'll come up and meet you. And him and his wife and the daughter and the oldest son came. The youngest son is in the sheriff's department now, so he couldn't take off. So anyway, they come here and they rang the doorbell, and here they were. They'd come to a motel up here, and then they come over. He brought me a box of candy and come in, and so John and them, Gladys was supposed to come too, but John had a boiler blow up in his job, so he had to take care of that before he come the next. So they's gonna come the next morning, and all of us get here together the next day, and they just gonna stay a while, and then they's gonna go stay all night at the motel, and then come back. And lo and behold, when they got back to the motel, they had a message. His mother was in that care home, and she was already dead.
Oh, she passed?
You know, but they had to keep her alive till
She was on life support?
get him there. And they had to turn off and go all the way back to Chino Hill that day, that night, and before of course, they called her dead after, pronounced her dead after they got there. But, and I said, she even
cheated you in her death.
him off his last thing, you know?
Still did him in.
Terrible?
That's
Well,
not
I
right.
want something to drink or something.
Oh, I'm getting some water. Anyone else want anything?
You want to fill mine on your way up?
No, I'm fine.
Do you want something? Do you want something?
No, I
So
don't
does he
know.
have a relationship with your kids?
Huh?
Does he have a relationship
Oh,
with
he
your
had a
kids now?
good relationship, but he's died now.
Oh, he died?
Yeah, he's been 8 years now. He died 10 years we married. I got to meet him, and he was a pleasant. Look at them. They all look alike, all three of them, those boys.
Thank you.
You
You
can't
see if we
tell
can download those
one
later.
apart hardly.
Definitely.
Larry and Jim would sound like.
Which is only about 10 minutes at a time.
Twins almost.
You know, that's when I was like, well, I need to get
She's
that webcam
beautiful.
Well, I had someone
She is
going some of
beautiful.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you may
She
look
was
at it
just
and see where you
gorgeous.
I'm
got.
not gonna remember, you know.
You may look at it
She
and see
doesn't
what
look
you
sick
got,
at
and then you
all.
can ask some more
Huh?
She
questions
doesn't
to
look